Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria, is a bustling metropolis with a population currently estimated at 3 million. But beneath the gleaming architecture and modern infrastructure in the city lies a rich cultural heritage dating back centuries.
Gbagyi ya jife ila kumbo lafiya ya wona abana woina yilkuji to mema dabo ntukutina Gbagyi bonu wasun chiwi mbina yakwe magode nsa de nshokwela gai shokuba maiji.
Abuja is a melting pot of cultures, with people from all over Nigeria calling it home. But Abuja is the actual home for several indigenous groups. On today's episode of Abuja Diary, we'll be looking at one of the tribes of the small village that once was Abuja, the Gbagyi people. I'm your host, Angel Yolanda. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back after this short break.
From the old Karu in the Federal Capital Territory, our people migrated from different areas. Some say the Gbagyi people of the north central of Nigeria came from the Borno Empire. So from there, we migrated due to the jihadis and then in search of farmlands that we wanted, because Gbagyi people are predominantly farmers. So they are always in search of farmland. So that is how they migrated from different areas and came to settle in the federal capital. Yes. And then settling in the federal capital, because we're peace-loving people, very accommodating. By the time commerce came in, the Hausa people came into the federal capital and brought in their commerce. They affected the lives of the Gbagyi people. Gbagyi had names for their cities, but by the time the Hausa traders came in there, they decided to name the cities names that were convenient for them. So you have places like Karu. The Karu we know was originally called Kalupi.
It is important to recognize the relevance of the Gbagyi people to the history and culture of Abuja
today. So that is briefly how we came to the federal, and the Gbagyi of the federal capital is interesting because we are made up of, we come from 4 different states. We have the Niger, Kaduna, Kogi, and Nasarawa states. So the FCT is carved from this state.
However, not a lot of Nigerians know about the real owners of Abuja, whose land was reclaimed from them to form the seat of power.
I'm here at the Chief Palace in Gosa and Guantelo, Gosa District, Amak, where we'll have the privilege of speaking very shortly with the Prince, where he'll tell us about the history of the Gbagyi people and a lot more about their culture.
So I am a comrade, Prince Salihu Muhammad Ali, Ngosa and Guantelo. Present now, I am sitting down in the palace, which is Ngosa and Guantelo, along Airport Road, FCT, Abuja. So I thank Almighty God for this privilege given to me, which I want to speak on the Gbagyi, just little of I know.
In 1976, the then military government had the brilliant idea to find a no man's land in the geographic center of the country, one no singular group could lay claim to, an area Nigerians could unite under. The land of choice, however, was the land of the Gbagyi people.
Gbagyi, we are one nation, one state before now. Before the splitting of all states, which is Nasarawa, Kogi, Kaduna, and also Abuja itself. We are one before, we are in the one state. So because of this splitting of the states, that make us to split into different places, as I earlier said, Kaduna, Kogi, Abuja, and also Nasarawa. All these places mentioned, that is where Gbagyi people are found. And
The indigenous people of Gbagyi, also referred to as Gwari, are located deep in the obscure lands of Abuja and were the original settlers in the town before it was even carved out to be the seat of power.
So we find that according to the census or a submission that was given during I think that was the National Political Reform Commission conference that was had, it was said that the Gbagyi people constitute about 8 million in population in the north central of Nigeria. So it was this area that was carved out and became the federal capital. And that is why the Gbagyis claim that we are the most populous indigenous population in the federal capital.
The Gbagyi people are peaceful, agriculturalist, artistic, and Nupoit-speaking people and predominantly live in the Niger, Kaduna, and the Federal Capital Territory.
Gbagyi are peaceful people, as we all know, in the nation today. Many people joke with Gbagyi people because of lack of understanding of the name pronunciation. Some people will call Gwari, of which is not so. In the Gbagyi region, we have two types of Gbagyi, which is Gbagyi and the Gbari. Then many people cannot pronounce Gbari and they cannot pronounce Gbagyi. They likely pronounce Gwari. And this Gwari is a name of yam that Gbagyi people do farm it very well.
One very unique trait of the Gbagyis is carrying items on their shoulders as opposed to their heads.
Your brain is supreme. And because the brain is supreme, you don't want to overload things on your head because you're tasking the brain. So the brain needs to be free to do what it's supposed to do, to think, not to be having heavy something on it. And then the shoulder is better to put on the shoulder because they believe that when you put on one shoulder, when you're tired, it's easy for you to rotate it to the other shoulder. So that was some of the reasons that people say, that I've heard being said, that is why we carry things on our shoulder.
LN 24/7 lights up your day with unbeatable shows that guarantees absolute access to stories that revolves around politics, entertainment, and sports. Breaking news, plus detailed reports and analysis. At LN 24/7, where the story goes, we go.
In every culture, food forms a major rallying point. It is rarely just about nutrition. Food unifies the people, provides a social identity, and often brings people together in a way nothing else can. The Gbagyi people are no different.
There is many food that Gbagyi eats. We have akadolo, you say akunya, akayi, all these ones are soup. Then we have our native food that they cook with the guinea corn. Then they will put also ashes on the water, They filter it, they use it to cook food. If they cook this food now, the food they can preserve it 7 days, even more than, and it will remain there, it will never spoil, and it will be good to eat. And if you want to enjoy it after 3 days, you just have to how do I say it, you break it, you pieces it in water, you take it, which is called jepo. And if you want to take it, you don't take it ordinary. You get that of akayi, akadolo, akunya, and the usala. You pan pepper, you join it together, you turn it as soup. By the time you take it, you take your jepo. In fact, you feel like you are already in heaven, because everything will be working, your system will be working well, especially if you are just come from sun, your system will be working well. Yes. So that is our food we eat.
Despite their rich culture and history, the Gbagyi people face a number of challenges. The rapid urbanization of the Abuja region has led to the loss of traditional Gbagyi land and culture.
You can see no land again is belong to Gbagyi's people, most especially the farmland. Anywhere you farm today, tomorrow, somebody will just come with a paper that this land is already given to him by FCDA. So we are having challenges. We can no longer farm. We doesn't have any space of farming again. Even in the community, some people will come into a community and say their land is here in the community and they want to take part of the community, that the FCD have already sold the land to them. So this is a challenge to us. And many of us, especially the younger ones that we are coming up, we are just starting life, which we are marrying. We are hoping we'll have our own family. And our occupation mostly is farm. And after they have taken all this land from us now, what do we do to train our own children again? There's not. And so many of us, again, even after you grow, you want to get your own apartment, you want to get your own house, you cannot get a place of building of your own personal house. At the end of the day, you find yourself in another community. Instead of you living with your family, with your parents in the same community, because of there's no land, the land have already taken place by the FCDA, then you have no option than you go to other place and get your own comfortable apartment.
The Gbagyi people have also sadly faced marginalization in the political and economic spheres.
Major thing that the FCT Indigenes, Gbagyi people are really facing. In my time, when you were going to school, to fill out a form, it was difficult because we did not have FCT as a state. But I think a little bit of that has been fixed because there are forms now that now carry that. But you find that in appointments is still a problem, especially when the appointments are made according to your state of origin. So it is just of recent that we've been able to fight and even get a ministerial appointment. So I think now in this region, we have the Minister for Special Duties that was given to an indigene of the federal capital, a Gbagyi person. But it wasn't the case before. Most of these appointments, we didn't have any of them because we were not considered a state.
This is our land. We don't have governor, we don't have senator, we don't have other things. Other states do election. We in the election day, we sleep in the house. We don't have governor, we don't have House of Rep, we don't have House of Assembly. So we are crying to government. Let's take government create FCT as a state so that we have equal right.
The Gbagyi people are underrepresented in the government, and they have difficulty accessing education and employment opportunities.
So it is a big problem. Not been added, or the law to show that what our true position is when it comes to these resources, because we are competing with other Nigerians who come from other states. They still have resources from their own states which they can go and claim, but they have a right to as Nigerians in the new federal capital. But we don't. We just have the federal capital to contend with. We don't have any other state. So you find that we are marginalized in so many things.
These ancestral residents have long cried out over their challenges, ranging from lack of basic amenities and infrastructure deficits in their communities, to appointments and employment to reflect their quota in the federal character arrangement.
If you enter many of the communities in the Gbagyi's land today, you discover there's no road, there's no water, even light problem, because of the hands that are not getting to the communities very freely and easy.
In spite of all of this, the Gbagyi people are an extremely hardworking people with a deep sense of cultural pride and fierce communal loyalty.
Gbagyi, before now, everybody know Gbagyi as a peaceful people. He doesn't have problem. You live with Gbagyi person, you see you as his family members. He doesn't want anything that will touch you. He prefer any problem or anything that will come to you, the issue should affect him, because we always have people in mind never to have anything harmful to them. So Gbagyi people are lovely people, and with that, I think it's one of the reasons today many people are taking advantage of that love that we have. And you see that today almost people have dominated Abuja because they know we are loving people. If anywhere you find yourself, as long as Gbagyi land is concerned, they will give you open hand.
Without any form of tribal bias, the Gbagyi continue to open their hearts and homes, embracing all other tribes and cultures as they cherish living in harmony with their neighbors. Angel Yolanda. Thanks for watching Abuja Diary.